Episode 6.
Small folk. I'll be right back.
Bibbidi bop bop boom. I'm back. This season so far has had its ups and downs. A few nicks in the plot. However, I am quite enjoying myself. These few issues so far are nothing in comparison to what happened to the original show. Okay, I will say that. And there's a few little nicks in this armor, but that's about it. Alright, I really enjoyed this season. Rhaenyra meeting Alicent a few episodes ago was on the same weirdness as Daemon's moment last season when he should have definitely have died fighting the crab feeder. Alright, that motherfucker charged head first, alone, against an entire army, basically, you know? But that moment at least looked cool, so nobody complained. Alright, I like my dialogue sequences, damn it, okay? We open to a Lannister army. The Lannisters are slimy little guys, but do they have drip though? My goodness gracious.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
They are always the most stylish. That armor, oh my goodness. Jason Lannister is shown to be as pretentious as usual, cutting off his vassals mid-sentence and demanding that he once have a dragon escort, so they shall move into the Riverlands. Prince Aemond and Vhagar specifically. Aemond hates being summoned like a dog. He's a little ticked off by the request. Speaking of the crab feeder, the stepstones, and all that jazz down there in the south, Aemond sends Tywin Lannister to treat with the Triarch. They would be quite the alliance. They can help break apart the blockade holding King's Landing hostage. Is it a bad time to ask where the hell Otto has been? We haven't seen him since the second episode, when Aegon told him to kick rocks. Alicent advised him to go see the Tyrells over there in the Reach, but we have yet to get an update on the man. He's just AWOL. Corlys has accepted Rhaenyra's proposal as her hand. Now Rhaenyra wants to do something a little crazy. The Blacks technically have more dragons, but hardly any riders. So Rhaenyra has a desperate plan to look through the lineages and try to find people who have traces of dragon blood in them. And Sir Steffon Darkly is potentially one of these people. He's one of Rhaenyra's queen guards. We've seen him in the background, but he hasn't done much. He's the guy who snuck Rhaenyra in King's Landing to speak with Alicent. Now he's about to attempt to claim a goddamn dragon, and Sir Steffon is ready for such prospect. He calls the dragons gods. He's an honorable man and is ready to take such a dangerous risk for his queen. If the dragon does not accept him, there is potential for the dragon to reject him so fiercely that he might very well die in the attempt. Here we go, another therapy session with Daemon.
Oh shit, here we go again.
This time, Viserys is back, baby! Man, the myth, the legend, brings up past moments between the two, and Daemon gets teary-eyed. Attempts to run away from his brother, but the door won't open. This trauma's just a little too much for him, so he tries to escape. And the door does finally open, but back to reality. And poor Simon Strong is on the other side. A distraught Daemon threatens Simon, thinking he's up to the mischief of all these visions. But I'm assuming Daemon is just too out of his mind to really put two and two together, because isn't it obvious that it's the witch lady? I'm assuming Daemon is just so high out of his mind that he's just, you know, attacking anyone in sight. Because she literally gave Daemon a potion that messed with his noggin. Daemon gets fed up and almost leaves Harrenhal, but he's stopped by Alice, the witch lady. She calls him out on his BS of running away from all of his problems. She says that he is simply a piece on the board of this life. There are things that are older in this world than living memory. Things are getting spooky and magical, man. Things are getting magical. She even recalls past events and characters' motivations that she should not be aware of. Viserys not wanting the crown. Those who strive for the crown are the ones who least deserve it. Daemon actually asks for help with the River Lords, and she vaguely says to wait 3 days' time and the winds will shift. It's like talking to Titan over here, man. Steffon looks a little nervous here. Claiming a dragon is no easy feat. It's something that Targaryen children start being taught at a young age. It's something that Targaryen children start being taught at a young age. And it almost seems to work. But Sea Smoke said no. And torched the poor guy. And Steffon is no longer with us. Rhaenyra is really losing Queen's guards left and right, and she's slightly horrified by what just happened. Her poor Queen's guard gets lit up like no other. He's gone. Corlys has a talk with Alan. He wants Alan as his first mate, but Alan, he wants nothing to do with it. We still don't know why Alan is so distant with Corlys. He's bald. I'm assuming he's bald because he doesn't want his white hair to grow. He doesn't want to look like his father. I'm assuming so. The unrest is getting worse in King's Landing. Mysaria sent some peeps to stir up the trouble. People blaming Aemon and the Greens for the lack of food. Having carts of sheep dragged through the streets for the dragons definitely doesn't help the situation. Aemon visits Aegon as he's healing. He asks him if he remembers, even threatens him if he speaks about what happened. Aemon leaves his council ball that, funny enough, looks like an eye, as if Aemon watching him. This is very interesting. Aemon was slightly sympathetic growing up because he was like the bullied child, right? So like his motivations, his ego trip once he got Vhagar kind of was understood, right? But now it's gotten to the point where I'm like, oh my, Aemon, he's really going down that path, ain't he? Alan does shave his white hair, we see. He seems to try his best at distancing himself from his father's heritage. Maybe he's ashamed being a bastard, having to live among the peasants and constantly having to work harder than everyone else just because he wasn't born from a higher woman married to his father. Just because he's a bastard, he had to live among the streets while his father... You know, that would be kind of a shitty thing to go through. You see your father walk among the streets like royalty every single time he decides to work on the ships or go, you know, he sails away, comes back looking like $1 million every time you see him, yet you're stuck here on the streets, you know, having to beg for food and not really knowing when your next meal is coming from. You know, that would suck. Especially when you have a half-brother. You know, Corlys had a son, and seeing your half-brother being treated, like having all the attention, you know, that would be it. That would be kind of ass. I would be bitter for sure, for real. Lord Celtigar berates Rhaenyra about her rash decision-making. He thought it was extremely reckless allowing Sir Stefan to try to claim a dragon. Lord Celtigar, the Celtigars are also from Valyria, but they're very small. You know, they're itty-bitty house. You know, no one really talks of them in high status. They're a smaller house. Not even the Valyrians really talk about them.
Who?
So that's probably why he's like so like posh about this. Like, hey, what the hell? You're allowing this fucking guy? Really? And Rhaenyra slaps him in front of guards and staff, humiliating the Lord. This will not help Rhaenyra's reputation whatsoever. Rhaenyra and Mysaria send little boats full of food for the peasants, causing more unrest against the Greens. Smart move, helping a solution with the problem that you started. That's a smart move. Gwaine speaks with Alicent, and he seems a little spacey. I think our poor guy got PTSD from that battle. They speak of Otto, actually. He's been radio silent since his departure. I won't lie, I kind of like Gwaine. He rubbed off on me. He seems like a genuine dude. A little posh, a little arrogant, but he seems like a genuine guy. And I think once he realized just the gravity of battles and war, it's not like the storytelling. It's something real, something horrific. And once he got the taste of it, he's like, oh my. Yeah. They speak of a son of Alicent's that we've never seen before, Daeron. He has been a ward in Old Town where the High Towers are, where they're based at. Gwaine says that he's grown up to be a fine lad, a good man, kind, and good with the loot. I think this hits Alicent a certain way. Every single one of her other kids grew up to be complete wackos. Gwaine reassures his sister, saying that it's most likely the environment they were raised in. Alicent did her best. Yeah, you see, this is an underrated man, alright? And for that, I just know he's gonna die horribly. There's no way this guy's surviving much longer. Gwaine seems legit, and it's funny because he's away from Otto, he's away from the politics, he's over there in Old Town, probably getting an education. You know, Old Town has that college. Gwaine seems legit. Alicent and Otto, they came here in King's Landing. They were corrupted by the system. The streets have become absolutely dangerous at this point. Hugh is forced to get violent just to get a little bit of food for his family. It's getting crazy, man. Alicent and Helena praying at the temple gets interrupted by a mob of peasants. This calls back to season 2 of the original show, back when the peasants actually had a voice. A fish is thrown, hitting Alicent in the face, and things get hectic. A man grabs Alicent and one of the Kingsguard hacks off his hand stupidly for touching Alicent's arm.
Oh, fuck.
And it sparks a riot. It becomes complete chaos. One of the Kingsguard even seems to have died in this chaos. And Alicent got cut in a similar fashion on her arm as Rhaenyra did in season 1 back in the day. It does seem that later on, those Kingsguard that started chopping off the hand did spark the riot. Yeah! The Kingsguard gets sent to the wall by Aemond. Aemond ain't fucking around, alright? Aemond is not fucking around. Loras visits Aegon. He tells him that he will never be whole again. His mind is the only thing that remains. Loras sees a little bit of himself in Aegon. Tyrion Lannister once said, "I have a tender heart for cripples, bastards, and broken things." I think Loras feels sympathetic to this crippled version of Aegon, because Loras has his own disability, and he relates to that. And Aegon even asks for help. There are these two characters who are now crippled for life. They bond. It's kind of wholesome in a fucked up kind of way. These two psychopaths are made for each other. Oh, baby, even more Viserys.
Yeah, baby!
We get another vision of Viserys crying over his wife's body. It's horrific. I shouldn't sound excited, but Viserys is back, alright? Daemon finally gets closure, alright? And comforts his brother in his time of need. These scenes might honestly be the best out of the fucking season, alright? This character arc was desperately needed for Daemon. Alright, I'll say it again. I'll say it again, alright? This whole Daemon arc is the peak of season 2. He finally gets that closure. You know, he was never there for his brother when his brother needed comfort, needed somebody to lean on. Daemon wasn't there for that. And through these therapy sessions and the trippy dreams, Daemon finally gets closure. Isn't that just wholesome? Daemon then awakes with news that the old Lord Grover Tully is dead, and that the young Oscar Tully that we met earlier is now in charge. Adam, watching another dragon. This time though, something is different. The dragon circles Adam. The lizard chases Adam until it lands in front of him. I guess it doesn't always have to be the rider that claims the dragon, because I think my boy just got picked up by this dragon, alright? Adam did not consent to this, alright? This dragon chose him.
You're my friend now. We're having soft tacos later.
Another decent episode. This season is going at a very slow pace. That alone is fine. I have no problem with the pacing. However, the issues come later, and I shall get into it as the season comes to an end. Oh, and Miss Arya and Rhaenyra kiss.
Gay!